on the spotlight, but I just welcome you guys. We're actually going to start our practice tonight lying on our abdomen. So if you want to just lie in your abdomen, you can have your elbows bent at the top of your mat and just rest one of your cheeks there, closing your eyes. And this is a bit more of an kind of inward feeling of lying on your mat. And one of the breathing practices we'll be utilizing throughout class, I call a soothing breath. And it is simply to breathe in through your nose and to make an O shape with your mouth as you exhale out through your mouth as if you're breathing out through a straw. Breathe in through your nose. You can close your eyes and really visualize the breath entering the body. Soothing exhale, O-shaped mouth, breathing out through a straw. Now see if you can stretch that out a little bit more. Breathe in slowly. Fill all the parts of the lungs. O-shaped mouth as you exhale. Continue on breathing these soothing breaths. Start to feel the energy, the soothing quality of your yoga mat. As you feel the soothing breath calming your mind, body, nervous system, begin to feel a sense of the soothing community, the medicine of community, of coming together. Tonight we have no goals, but to simply reconnect with the refuge and the peace that is within. Continue your soothing, calming breaths anytime through class. At any time through class, you may notice sort of an energy bubbling to the surface that you're ready to set down, maybe an emotion. Use the soothing breath, that O-shaped mouth exhale, to help release it, to help calm your nervous system as you set down. And whatever it is that you feel you've been carrying, maybe you've been carrying worry for your children, your friends, family, your future grandchildren. Not just this week, but this year has been challenging. I love for you to imagine as you exhale a soothing breath that just for this hour, you will set down what you've been carrying. Take another breath in and feel the lightness of simply setting it down. No expectation that you won't pick it back up. Just let yourself set it down. Good. And then one more breath. And then from here, I'd love for you to slowly make your way into a child's pose. So you can come up slowly, taking your hips back towards your heels. The forehead is resting on your yoga mat. We'll take a side stretch by walking your hands off your yoga mat to the right. You can shift your hips a little to the left and just allow your breathing now to switch towards Ujjayi breath. Anytime that you'd like to switch back to soothing breath, I welcome you to hear and tap into the sound of your breath. Begin to slowly walk your hands over to the other side of your mat. And once your hands are off to the left, the hips can sink a little more to the right. Feel your breath begin to expand, deepen, lengthen, and slowly exhaling out. Now we'll walk it back towards the center and rise up onto your hands. Take your knees together and have the tops of your feet touch the mat for Hero's Pose, Virasana. We could sit on top of a yoga block if that is more comfortable for your knees. It is okay to keep the hands in front of you or to place your hands on your knees. Please feel free to bring the hands to the heart center if you'd like. Just feel your breath rise and fall. And I invite you to join me in setting an intention that nerves will be calmed for all. There will be a soothing, a feeling of reconnecting with peace, even if it's simply the inner peace, just for right now as we breathe. If there's someone in your life that you'd like to send some peace to, think of their face, their name, take a breath in. And when you exhale, send out the intention to practice, not just for yourself, but for both of you, or for all beings to feel peaceful. And then we're going to open our eyes up. And once your eyes are open, walk your hands forward in front of you and come into a tabletop position. Once in tabletop pose, spread the fingers wide and feel how you're grounding through your hands, and then start to ground through the tops of your feet. Feel your shin bones begin to draw down as if you're trying to press the tops of your shins down to your yoga mat. With an inhalation, drop the navel down for cow pose, tilting the tailbone upward and gaze forward. On the exhalation, press into the palms, pressing into the shins and the tops of the feet. Round your back for cat. Take that slowly. Inhale slowly for a cow pose. Exhaling slowly for cat. Inhale slowly, cow pose. Exhale, cat. One more time, really stretch out your inhale. And stretch out your exhale. And then finding your neutral position, and walk the hands forward about another foot, tuck the toes underneath, and downward facing dog, reaching seat to the sky. And I invite you to not overanalyze, to overthink the yoga poses tonight, but simply trust how you feel. If something does not feel right, it feels a little off, we make adjustments. Right? If the posture feels okay, try not to question if you should go deeper or if you might need to play your edge more, right? But simply tap into your breath. Yeah, and feel an evenness, head dropping heavy. Head below heart poses are incredibly calming for the nervous system. And when you add in your deep, slow breath, and every time you breathe deeply and slowly, the diaphragm is pressing against the vagus nerve, which is a part of your nervous system, communicating to your brain that you no longer need all the stress hormones like cortisol. When those hormones start to lower, right, we might start to feel more at ease. So just feel like every single breath is medicinal. Every slow, deep breath. Now we're gazing forward to our hands and walking feet or hopping feet forward. Ragdoll pose will be next. You can take your feet hip width apart or wider, starting with a generous bend in the knees or having your legs straight, hinge forward from the hips and drop the weight of your head. It might be more grounding to keep your hands touching the earth. You could grab for your opposite biceps or interlace fingers behind the back if you'd like to open up your chest. Then wherever you are, find a point of stillness. And in that place of stillness, notice what you're feeling. Notice the sound of your breath. Every cycle of breath is soothing, calming, medicinal. Release the hands down towards the ground.
Bend the knees a little bit. And over a really long inhalation, we'll roll ourselves up to standing. Press into the feet, sweep your arms up to the sky, coming into mountain pose Savasana. Join the palms overhead and then draw your hands to your heart center. Take a moment to close your eyes. Observe and notice how you feel without any judgment. Take a deep breath in. Exhaling out. Now we're going to move through our sun salutation with the intention of trying to really stretch out our breath. Let's try to stretch the inhale over the entire movement and stretch the exhales over the entire movement. And as we focus on stretching out our breaths and moving in and out of poses, this will help to soothe the mind and create a meditation as we move. Take one more inhale. And when you exhale, open the eyes and relax your hands down. Inhale to mountain pose, reach up, stretch out the breath. Exhale, folding forward, stretching out the exhale. Inhale to a halfway lift, a flat back. Planting hands, exhale, step back and lower down all the way or halfway. Inhales, upward facing dog or cobra, stretch out the breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths, inhale. Exhale. Full breath in. Exhale out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Gaze to the hands and step or hop forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high to low plank. Inhale, upward or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths on your own. Then 1 more sun salutation, challenging yourself to stretch out each breath. Hear the sound of your breath as you flow. Take one more deep breath in your down dog. Once you've emptied all the air out, make your way forward to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Folding forward, exhale. Inhale to mountain pose, reaching up. On the exhalation, sit back into chair pose. Option for chair pose to place a yoga block between your knees. Feet are hip width apart. And we sit back. You can start with your hands at your heart center. You reach the arms up overhead. Find a point of focus in front of your mat, be it on the floor or the wall in front of you. And reconnect with the sound of your breath, challenging yourself to breathe slower and deeper. But also having compassion if you notice that the breath is a little tight or a little stuck, or you're starting to feel that sort of release of energy or emotion that's been held in these tense times. We could do soothing breaths, making the O shape with the mouth, releasing and setting it down. Breath in, exhale out. One more time, breathe deeply in. And when you exhale, fold forward. And if you've got your block, set that aside. And with an inhalation, come to a halfway lift of flat back. Plant your hands, stepping back, high to low plank, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Send your right leg upward towards the sky. And when you exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands, coming into a low lunge. Place your back knee down and untuck your toes. With an inhalation, you can keep fingertips on the ground and draw your heart forward. If it feels okay in your body tonight, you can send your arms upward towards the sky. Interlace all of your fingers except your pointer finger and thumb and draw the fingers back. Lift up through your heart center and connect with your breath. And soothing breaths might be helpful in this deep hip opener. Take one more cycle. Inhale. And have a soothing exhale. Release your hands down towards your mat. Step it back to a high plank pose. Option to lower it down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing or cobra. Then downward facing dog. Take your left leg upward. Exhale, left foot forward between the palms. Place the back knee down and untuck the toes. With an inhalation, we can draw the heart forward, fingertips stay on the mat. You can also reach the arms up towards the sky, interlacing fingers and releasing the pointer finger and thumb. Lift up through your breastbone, your heart center, and breathe deeply. One more time, breath in. Maybe a soothing exhale out. Plant the palms, step it back, high plank pose. Lowering down. Inhale upward. Exhale downward. 3 breaths in. Exhale out. Breathe in. Exhale out. One time, breath in. Soothing exhale out. Look to the hands and step or hop forward. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold forward, exhale. Stretch out the breath. Inhale, mountain pose. Sitting back into chair pose. Stay low in your chair, but inhale the arms high. Fold forward, exhale out. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step it forward. Place the back knee down and tuck the toes. And inhale, the arms reach up, stretch out the breath. Exhale, planting your palms, step back to high plank pose. Pause at the top of your high plank. Take a filling inhale. Then when you exhale, chaturanga. Upward dog, breathe in. And downward dog, breathe out. Left leg lifting high, inhale. Exhale, step it forward. Back knee comes down and inhale, reaching up, stretch up the breath. Plant the hands on the exhale and step back to high plank. Take a really full breath in your high plank. Exhale, lowering down, chaturanga. Inhales, up dog or cobra. Exhales, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Let your head hang heavy. Breathe in. Empty out. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Fill up. Empty out. Let's stretch out our breath as much as we can in this last sun cycle. Step or hop forward and inhale to a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, chair pose. Stay low, but inhale, arms high. Fold forward, exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, high plank pose. Deep breath in at the top of your plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward. Exhale, downward. Left leg high, inhale. Exhale, step. Inhale, reach up, low crescent. Exhale, planting palms, step back to high plank. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Breathe in, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Breathe here. Soothing breaths anytime. Deeper in breath. Exhaling it out. Reach the right leg high as you breathe in. Exhale, step right foot forward. Warrior one, back heel spins down. Feel the feet grounded, even, and then sweep the arms upward. Here in this pose, if you'd like to, you can keep your arms wider, like a Y shape, releasing tension from your traps, shoulders, and upper back. You can also create more intensity and join the palms together. But know that you don't always have to choose more. Okay. Breathe deep, steady the mind. Take one more deep inhale. And then when you exhale, plant your hands, move through your flow. Downward facing dog is where we'll meet. Left leg lifts high with an inhale. Exhale, stepping it forward. Back heel spins down. Warrior one. Take your time. And the breath soothes the nervous system. Feel it expand your rib cage in this warrior pose. Deeper in-breath. And when you exhale, plant your palms, lowering down to chaturanga. Inhales, up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog with the exhale out. Next inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Pause, breathe. And take up some space on your mat. Feel your feet grounded, toes soft, the strength of your legs. And then soften through your shoulders and feel a sense of setting down that which you've been carrying. Face soft. Breath sounds like ocean waves. One more in-breath. When you exhale, plant your palms, moving through your flow. Maybe that's chaturanga and up dog or right to downward facing dog. Stretch out each breath. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Then stretch out the length of the stance, allowing your front knee to track towards the left side of the mat and press into the entire back foot and feeling your back leg engaging. And feel your mind focused in this moment, right here, right now. Breathe in. When you exhale, plant the palms, moving through the flow. We'll meet in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, float your right leg high. When you exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Extended side angle is next. Reach forward, then tipping forward. Right elbow can be on thigh or reaching down for the floor. Top arm is extended overhead towards the wall in front of you. You can option to use a yoga block underneath the bottom hand. If your hand is reaching down for the floor, hug your knee into the arm. Then press your arm into the leg. And plug into the back foot, keep it strong, engaged. Back leg. And notice if you're like trying to muscle the pose a little too much, we can take some soothing breaths. Oh, that felt good. Take one more time. A soothing exhale. Release your hands down to your mat. Flip your back heel up and prepare yourself for a runner's lunge, placing your back knee down on your mat. You can walk the right foot out towards the outer side edge of the mat, maybe even forward a little bit towards the front of the mat.
You can stay here on the palms and allowing your hips to gently come forward and down closer to the mat. We can come down onto our elbows. Okay. If you'd like to, you can take your right hand and place it on your right quadricep and roll the femur, the thigh bone, away from your heart. Spin your gaze over your right shoulder, then bend your back knee and just explore. Does it feel good to reach back for your foot? Or maybe today, not so much. What's beautiful about practicing is being able to adjust daily to what it is that we need. It is absolutely beautiful and okay to not force or push too hard today. Maybe we're doing some soothing breaths. The muscle that we're stretching is a psoas muscle, which is associated with bringing us into the fetal position. So it is not unlikely that you are feeling a lot bubbling to the surface here. Whenever we feel worried, anxious, or afraid, this muscle can hold on to that energy. So soothing breaths. Exhale out. Beautiful. Come back. If you've got your back foot, release it, walking back up onto palms, and right foot comes to the middle line of your mat. Once you're there, half split. Toes point up towards the sky, right hip slides back. Begin to let your heart melt forward and dropping your forehead down towards the shin or knee. Allowing your head to drop down, visualize breathing in and out through the back of your heart. Just imagine there's a window there that you've opened up and allow your breath to flow in and out through the back of your heart. Now we'll bend the front knee, plant the hands, stepping back. Your choice if you'd like to flow through chaturanga and up dog or to downward facing dog to breathe there. Coming right to down dog might feel very calming for the nervous system to keep the head below the heart a little longer and to focus on slow, deep breathing. On your next inhale, send your left leg high. Exhale, stepping it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Extending your side angle, reach forward. Elbow can be on thigh or left hand reaching down for the floor, yoga block. Top arm extends overhead and reaching for the wall in front of you. In this pose again, if you notice you're getting to a point where you're really muscling it or your breath becomes a little bit tense, soothing breaths can help us to unlock and release energy blockages in the body. Take one more cycle of breath. Releasing the hands down. Flip your back heel up towards the sky and place the back knee down. In our runner's lunge, you can walk your foot forward. If you'd like to come down into elbows, maybe let the knee wing out a little bit. Place the hand on top of the thigh. Notice where the breath gets a little bit sticky. Soothing breaths are a beautiful complement to deep releasing poses. Let's come back up onto palms. Walk left foot to the middle end of the mat. We move into half split pose. I'd love for you to not think so much about this as a hamstring stretch, but to drop your head down a little bit, close your eyes, and think of this pose as a calming, cooling pose for your nervous system. Breathe slowly and deeply. Imagine that you're breathing from the back of your heart. Bending front knee, planting palms, moving through flow or downward facing dog. Once you arrive in your downward facing dog, stretch out the inhales, stretch out the exhales. Next, inhale, the right leg lifts high. Exhale, stepping it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Triangle pose, straighten the front leg. Toe heel the back foot in about a half a foot closer and turn your back toes so they're pointed towards 10 o'clock. Reach forward and release your hand to your shin, ankle, or reaching for yoga block. Stacked shoulders. Gazing upward can be, more fiery. So if you feel like you want to kind of be more in that cooling and calming, turn your gaze down towards the floor. Gazing down as well can help us to feel really grounded, which makes us feel secure, steady, safe. Breathe. Next inhalation, we're coming up to standing. When you arrive at standing, turn your heels in and your toes point out, sinking down into a goddess pose. In goddess pose, an option tonight is to do a shoulder stretch. Right hand will come to the nape of your neck, left arm going behind your back for cow face arms. If you're like me, your hands don't join, right? Or maybe you want to use a towel or strap tonight, but it's okay if there's space. What we want to avoid is compressing through the heart and letting the elbows draw in, which pulls a little bit on the neck. So keep your elbows like drawing wide away from your heart. Yeah, and then we're going to sink down deep here. So this posture is a little bit more intense. Great posture to use cooling, soothing breaths. It's a great time to establish a focal point for your eyes and to let your mind meditate on the sound and the quality of your breath, pushing out any judgmental thoughts, old stories, any preferences. Simply let your mind focus on your breath. Now let's rise up slowly. Keep your cow face arms. Turn your feet to face the long edge of your mat. Prasarita with cow face arms begin to fold forward. A more intense version of the shoulder stretch. At any time that it becomes overwhelming for your capacity to breathe and stay in that sort of equanimity, you can release the hands down to the mat. Our shoulders hold on to so much here. Right, soothing breaths. Whew. Hands can release down to the floor if they're not already, and walk your hands out in front of you until you've come to a nice flat back. Once we're there at the flat back, we're going to walk our hands over towards the right knee. Begin to bend your right knee, preparing for side lunge or skandasana. Option number one, keep your left foot flat onto the ground, which is going to be a really deep inner thigh stretch. You can also make it more of a hamstring stretch by flexing your left foot and balancing on your heel. Okay, your choice, noticing what you need to stretch, and then breathe into those spaces.
And we're rising up, returning to Prasarita, soothing and calming the nervous system. So just like I said before, instead of thinking about this as a flexibility pose, for this moment, I'd love for you to fully relax your head. Feel your neck decompress. Let go of effort and let this pose be soothing. Allow this pose to be medicine. Maybe notice that you do feel a little bit calmer and cooler after doing that yoga pose. Walk the hands out in front of you. Turn your left toes towards the back edge of your mat. We're preparing to move ourselves towards the back of the mat into a warrior one. So just take your time. With an inhale, you can sweep your arms upward. On the exhalation, open to a warrior two. Straighten your front leg, triangle trikonasana. Turn your right foot so that the toes are pointing to what would be like 2 o'clock and the right hip can come forward a touch. Stretch forward and release the hand to the shin, ankle, or a block. If you're noticing that it's not really like as soothing to look upward, you can gaze down towards the mat. Feel even on your feet. Stretching out each inhalation. Lengthen, elongate the exhalation. And then when we come back up to standing, push into the floor, rise up, goddess pose, heels in, toes out, sink down. Okay, and then we're moving into the other side of the cow face arms. The left hand goes towards the nape of the neck and the right arm goes behind you. Can draw the elbows away from the heart, broadening across the chest and elbows, or the triceps and shoulder. We can sink down. And then establish a focal point. Maybe soothing breaths are coming into practice. Rise up, straightening the legs. Keep your arms as they are. Pivot your feet so they're pointing. The toes are pointing towards the long edge of your mat. Prasarita with cow face arms folding forward. And then keeping the arms in this position as long as you'd like. And if the hands are not already released to the ground, softly release them and walk the hands out in front of you. Hands are going to walk over towards your left foot, bending your left knee. Option to keep sole of right foot flat onto the mat for inner thigh stretch, or to go into Skandasana and point the toes upward, balancing on your heel for more of a hamstring stretch. Each one of us is different though. So if you're like, I don't feel it anywhere in that place, remember that we're observing ourselves. There's no judgment. There's no goals or one pose that's better. There's just this feels better. This doesn't feel good. And let's come back up slowly. Walk your hands in the middle. Last Prasarita, and practice this pose simply to let go, to let gravity do its work to decompress, to let the weight drop off your shoulders, to feel your head sink down. And then let's walk the hands out in front of us.
Point your toes to the very front of your mat. Bend your front knee, step forward and sit down onto your mat. Once we are seated, we'll be lying back and moving into bridge pose. For bridge pose, if you'd like to, you can use a yoga block. We can make it a supported bridge tonight. You have your feet about hip width apart and the knees are bent. This is a really good time to keep your gaze pointing up at the ceiling instead of looking at like your monitor, just to keep your neck in a neutral position. We're going to press into the feet, lift the hips up, and then begin to tuck your arms underneath you. You might even want to interlace the fingers. If you're using a yoga block, place that underneath the small of your back and allow your weight to rest on the block. Another really great stretch, if you happen to be using a yoga block, is another Psoas Stretch, which is the muscle that connects your upper and lower body. So if you've been sitting a lot, like who hasn't, right? During pandemic, you might want to stretch one leg out and just notice how that feels. Okay. If it's okay, you can actually try stretching the other leg out too. If you feel like not a good sensation in your low back, remember to honor that. Both legs extended out might be just a little bit too much pressure for the lower spine. Great time to come back to your deep breathing. If you happen to have one leg extended out, go ahead and draw that foot in and switch sides. Extend the other leg out now. Those of you that are holding your regular bridge are building definitely some heat. So if you want to rest, take a moment to pause and you can come into a second set. If you're doing supported bridge, we'll stay right here. And then you can bend both knees, lift the hips a little higher to slide the block out from underneath you, lowering the hips down, and windshield wiper your knees from side to side. And then once the release through the low back, bring the bottoms of your feet together. And allow your arms to be overhead, elbows bent in goddess version of this pose. Take a moment to close your eyes and feel the medicinal quality of focused awareness around your breathing. Breathing is something that we do not have to think about. Our bodies do it on their own. But when we are conscious about our breaths, it can be therapeutic. It can help us to shift out of our fight and flight mode and into a feeling of rest at ease. The more we practice deep breathing, the easier it is to access at other times in life where challenges or conflict arises. At the seat of our being, at the center of our being is love and peace. But maybe it is like our breath. And that if we are not aware that we need to focus on being loving, focus on being peaceful, right? The muscle gets a little atrophied and it's harder to access in difficult times. But when we practice with regularity, being loving, kind, and peaceful becomes natural and easy. What a beautiful practice. Take one more breath. Exhale out. And I had just a moment of thinking that I didn't do very good practicing all last week, but I'm sure that you guys can understand, right? Draw the knees in, right? We're all practicing. None of us are perfect, right? I'm the first to admit that I'm in practice. I'm on my way, but I'm not there. But there is a level of acceptance and compassion that comes with that, right? We're all healing. We're all on our journey. Right? So look at your yoga strap and send your left leg up to the sky. Or rather, send your left leg long. Let's do the left leg first. That one always gets kind of the short end of the stick, right? With the time being a little shorter on the left. So take your left leg high, grab your strap and bring it around the sole of your left foot.
And once the strap is around the left foot, we're going to start with the hamstring stretch first. But what I really want you to do is focus on your foot flexing. Okay, so you're going to pull on the strap. You might even want to place the strap over the ball of your foot and really push up through your heel. Then pull down the strap so you feel like that lower leg. Maybe you're even feeling the sole of your foot stretching. Just notice where you're feeling it. Yeah, and let's just take a couple of breaths. And when you're ready to go a little deeper, you can draw the foot back towards you a little more, but keep flexing the foot and pushing through the heel, pulling on the strap. Our feeling of safety, security comes through groundedness, right? Through our feet. When we feel rooted, we have strong roots, we feel more secure. So here, just feel like a re-energizing of the feet by just stretching out and unwinding any tight places. Now we're going to release that stretch. Hold the strap in your left hand. Right arm is going to extend out. Draw your foot a little back and then over to the left. Try to keep the right side of your body in contact completely with the mat. The moment that the right side starts lifting, we've maybe taken the left leg a little bit too low. Yeah, and you can as well keep energy through the lower leg and foot by flexing the foot and pulling on the strap a little more. Come back to your soothing breaths. Breathe in through the nose. O-shaped mouth as you exhale. And take the leg up to the sky. Keep the strap on the same foot, but hold the strap in your right hand. Draw the foot back a little bit towards you and then over to the left. What I would love for you guys to try tonight is instead of bringing your foot all the way down, like almost touching the floor, I'd love for you to keep the left side of your pelvis grounded and only bring your left foot across as far as you can without lifting up the left side of your pelvis and low back. So like you can feel that really anchored down. And maybe the foot is just above like your right hip bone. From there, we're going to flex the foot and push through the heel and pull the leg back. And if you don't feel this, you can adjust it, right, and take your leg further to the right. But I know I need my soothing breath right now. I'm sure those who have been to a yoga class before have heard about that the hips are the seat of our emotions. So it is not unlikely that stuff might be coming up to the surface a little bit. So utilize your soothing breath to exhale it out, to feel a sense of setting it down. Nice. Let's release this side. Take your left leg long in front of you. Pause for a moment and observe and notice the after effect of the pose. Then we'll do the other side. So you can send your right leg up to the sky. There, we're going to loop the strap over the sole of the foot. Take a moment to really flex your foot and push up through your heel. Pull on the strap so you feel a stretch that might be more through your calf, lower leg, sole of your foot. Then we're going to draw the foot back a little bit so that we feel more of that hamstring, low back stretch too. And release that stretch. Hold the strap in your right hand. Pull the leg back a little bit and then over to the right. Flex the foot, push through the heel. Keep the left side of your body completely anchored down to the mat. Notice the quality of your breath. Can you stretch it out a little longer?
Notice how different it feels when you breathe slowly and deeply than how it feels when you hold your breath. And the leg comes back up to the sky. Switch hands, hold the strap in your left hand. Take your right foot across, maybe only above your hip bone, and try to keep your pelvis anchored down into the mat. So the moment that you start to lift like the right side of the pelvis up, maybe we've gone a little bit too far. So just bring the leg as far across as you can without lifting up either side of your low back. And then push through the heel and pull on the strap. Draw the foot or the leg a little bit closer to you until you start to feel that deep outer leg stretch. And if we've gone too deep and it's like the only choice is to hold your breath, we can ease it up a little bit. Nice work. Release the strap. Take the leg long in front of you. And let the leg just relax open. Supine twist will be next. Draw the right knee back into the chest. Set the sole of your right foot on top of your left thigh. Keep the right arm extended out like a wing. Left knee, or rather left hand comes to the knee, and draw the knee gently across the body. It's okay if your right shoulder lifts up off the mat, especially if it feels better in your low back. Now, let's see if we can just like kind of go inward. Maybe that means closing your eyes or finding a focal point. Slow down your breath. And then we'll come back to the center, stretch the right leg long, hug left knee in, and set the sole of the left foot on top of the right thigh. Left arm reaching out, palm face up, and draw the knee across the body. Allow this pose to be easy, relaxing, calming, and cooling. And we come back to the center. To prepare for Shavasana or resting pose, you may want to place a blanket over your body to keep warm. You may want to cover your eyes with a towel or an eye pillow. Take up some space. You can let your feet be wider than the edges of your mat. Just let the feet drop open. The hands can be at your sides, or it can be sometimes very calming and relaxing to keep your hands resting on your abdomen to feel your breath. Now we're going to start the Shavasana tonight with 3 rounds of soothing breath. So exhale all your air out. Breath in through your nose. Soothing exhale out through the mouth. Slower inhale. Slowly exhale. Last one, try to fill all the way up as you breathe in slowly and deeply. Soothing exhale out. Now we can let go of our effort to breathe deeply. Let your body breathe on its own. Feel your body sink down deep into the comfort of your yoga mat. Imagine lying on the earth, be it on the grass, on a beach, in a forest. Imagine your body is in contact with the earth, lying on the ground. Feel the earth's gravitational pull welcome you closer and closer to her. Picture in your mind the sky above expanding as far as your mind can expand. Lying on the ground, feel yourself being held, supported, sink, surrender. For just a few minutes, let's be. Begin to reawaken your body. Just take a moment before moving to notice how you're feeling. And when you're ready to, gentle micro movements to toes and fingers. And stretch your arms above your head, a big stretch. Bending the knees and rolling to your right side. Let your head rest across your arm lightly. Ease our way back on up to a cross-legged seated position. And when you come to cross-legged seat, join your hands together at your heart center. There's a Sanskrit mantra, which is such a beautiful reminder and one of my absolute favorites. In Sanskrit, it is Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, which translates to may all beings everywhere be happy and free. And may my life in some way be a giving to happiness and peace for others. Gently bow forward. Namaste.